my name is Addie Sundam, and I'm going to be doing my reflection on the Nasarima assignment for intercultural communications. So overall, my reflection and my personal opinion, I thought it was a very informative article about the Nasarima and how they brought up certain culture customs and norms for them. They brought up the medicine man, which were their doctors, the holy mouth men, which were their dentists, ritual of Latipso, which were hospitals, and many more, just stuff like that they would call certain things. Minor really expressed how these can be norms in one culture but be completely out of the ordinary in some other cultures, and I just think that's really cool and unique how we personally view things in a whole other way, because we just are grown up to see certain things one way, but people across the country or people in other ways can see things in a completely different way, and it's honestly just super cool. And I think the goal of that was so that we can reflect on ourselves and how we work in our everyday life. So kind of moving on from the Nasarima, I think some of our own communication patterns can include what has been more popular recently is social media in our communication and how we speak to each other, through Snapchat. We take pictures and we can write on the picture and we can send it to them. We use slang in our Snapchats or whatnot, and we can say OMG and be like, oh my god, and you just kind of know what that is because it clicks in our brains. Or there's other ones I don't know, WTF or whatever. And I think when you read that, you read it in your head as oh my god, not OMG. So I think that's kind of cool that slang has kind of adapted into our culture. I think more adapted into our generation than our culture. But it's kind of special because everybody knows that that's what it means, because it is used so often. I think another thing is handshakes or hugging. In some cultures that's not really acceptable. You don't just go up to someone and hug them or give them a handshake. I know in Europe or France you kiss your two side of your cheeks. There's just so many ways that you can welcome someone, and in my culture we give each other a handshake or a hug if you haven't seen someone in a long time. And I think it's really I think for me it's a normal, but for people that don't see us in that way, I think it can be very what are you doing? I think in my opinion it has become beneficial, because I don't think anything really could be detrimental unless it's hurting someone personally, but it's really just kind of, I think it's beneficial because it's used to signal how we speak to each other, how we see each other, and it's just a different kind of communication pattern, and I don't think that can really be detrimental in any way towards each other, which I think is cool. But it has changed throughout history a lot, because you clearly with the social media aspect, that's a whole new thing that's just kind of happened the last 5-10 years, with Facebook starting up and us being able to communicate on those types of platforms. But it has changed a lot, and I found this website called Napton Right, and I'll just read a paragraph that it had come from. It starts with the modern era, tweet, poke, snap. It says, letters became emails, telephones became smartphones, and newspapers become the internet over the last few decades, with technology evolving at an increased pace. Smartphones don't just let us call people from anywhere, but also email, text, direct message, and 1,000 other methods of communication. I think this is really cool and important to know, because this would never even happened when we didn't have phones 30 years ago. We had to call on a whole different type of device, and I'm not completely educated on that because I was born 18 years ago, but it all depends on just being able to communicate all through this one little small device, versus having to write letters or learn about things from the newspaper. It's just all different because it's all on our phones, and I think that's just super cool now that we do have that, and I think that is beneficial for us now because it's just more efficient and easier for us to do. But people across the country, or not country, but across the world, may see that so differently than we do because it's kind of a norm for us, but it might not be a norm for other people in like Asia, Africa, whatever. Yeah, that's my take on the Nasarima article and the assignment. Thank you.